Hello everyone, welcome back to Huskers in Enemy Territory. Today I was going to do a video on the Oklahoma versus Nebraska game. Um, I'm looking forward to this game, if we're being honest. I've been looking forward to it since the Nebraska left the Big 12. Let's see, I think now it'll be 9 years ago. I think we left in 2012. Um, Now, Nebraska versus Oklahoma, we played September 20 or 18th, 2021, which is, I don't know, a few months away now. Um, the first meeting between the two schools happened November 23rd, 1912. Nebraska won that game 13 to 9. The last meeting between the two schools happened December 4th, 2010. Oklahoma won that game 23 to 20, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. In total, Nebraska and Oklahoma have met 86 times over its great history. The largest margin of victory was by Nebraska, and it was 69 to 7 in 1997, which was Nebraska's national championship year. The largest victory for Oklahoma came 48 to zip, and I believe that was in 1958. The largest winning streak for Oklahoma has been 16 games in a row, which is pretty insane. And Nebraska has had a winning streak of 7 games in a row, which is pretty impressive too, because considering the fact that they've both been pretty big rivals for the longest time. So, you know, getting off 16 wins in a row and 7 wins in a row is pretty impressive considering how big of rivals they both are. Um, the all-time series is 45 wins by Oklahoma and 38 wins by Nebraska. They also have 3 ties in that history. One of the most notable games happened in 1971, November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving. And I kind of wonder if this started a little bit before this date in terms of the day after Thanksgiving game. Nebraska and Oklahoma had been doing that for a while, and it switched, I believe, to Colorado. They played Colorado for a long time on that date, and then they also switched back to Oklahoma for some time. And then I believe once Oklahoma went down into the South Division for the Big 12, then Nebraska replaced the day after Thanksgiving game with Colorado once again. So it kind of switched back and forth between Oklahoma and Colorado for the longest time. And that's kind of where you also have the same tradition with Iowa, where we have the game after Thanksgiving. We're trying to get that tradition going with the Hawkeyes. So that's kind of where that all plays in, if some of you guys didn't know that. Um, the the Oklahoma game was dubbed the game of the century, just because where the teams both came in ranked 1 and 2, and they also being a historical rivalry, and being that it would determine the national championship. Basically, whoever won this game was probably going to end up going to the national championship game, because this was basically the last game of the year. They didn't really play Big 10 or Big 12 championship games back then, so they kind of just looked at who was the most prominent teams back then. So some of you guys don't realize that. Maybe some of you younger guys, you know, not they didn't have the BCS, they didn't have the college playoff. Basically, they just kind of picked the best teams and kind of rolled with it. And that year, I believe in 1971, it was Nebraska versus Alabama, and Nebraska ended up beating Alabama that year. So I don't know what the score was, but I know we won the national championship game that year. But anyway, I digress. Um, let's see. Uh, and that day, Nebraska ended up beating Oklahoma 35-31 in Norman. Um, Now, some of the keys to the upcoming Husker game that I was thinking about is uh, if they can do if Nebraska can do a repeat of what Kansas State and Iowa State were able to do to the Sooners, then the Huskers may stand a chance against Oklahoma. It seemed like what had happened in the Kansas State game, take for example, was that they were able to kind of frustrate Spencer Rattler and get him to turn over the ball. I believe he had a couple interceptions in that game, and then I believe they also had a fumble. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I didn't. I should have rewatched the game, but I did watch it live last year or whatever. But I'm just kind of going off the top of my head, but I believe they had a few turnovers, and I do believe that they had a couple turnovers in the Iowa State game. So really, I feel like the key to the game for the Cornhuskers will be if we can rattle Spencer Rattler a little bit, we'll be able to cause some turnovers, hopefully, and maybe keep the game close, and hopefully towards the end, maybe run away with the game. But it's hard to say. Obviously, it kind of depends on what's going to go on in the first couple games. If we're 3-0 heading into Oklahoma, man, things might be looking up for the Cornhuskers. But if we're, let's say, 1-2 or 2-1 or whatever you mean, maybe we won't have as much confidence in the game. But I feel like if we can be 3-0 heading into that Oklahoma game, then maybe we might stand a chance against the Sooners. Um, I think another big key is to limit turnovers and play a clean game, and the Huskers may have a chance to pull an upset in Norman. Uh, Honestly, I believe that the game will be close, and I'm just excited for the fact that Nebraska and Oklahoma will be playing a game again. It's just like one of my favorite rivalries of all time, and I think a lot of my Husker friends know that the Oklahoma game is really important to me. I just loved watching Oklahoma and Nebraska go at it all those years ago or whatever. I mean, I know it's only been like 9 years, but still, that's a long time considering how many games I was able to watch when I was growing up, you know. Um, Honestly, if it were up to me, I would schedule Oklahoma and Colorado for our preseason games, if you want to call it that, before the Big Ten schedule comes out. So, you know, you might have a couple cupcake games, you know, two cupcake games, and then you have Oklahoma and Colorado every year. Honestly, that if it was up to me, I don't know what you guys think. That's just one of the little opinions that me and my buddies have for the Cornhuskers. Just kind of, you know, at least keep two of our old rivalries going from the Big 12. I think it would be kind of fun seeing the Buffalo and Sooner games every year. I don't know. It's just something that I've pondered. I know that we'll be playing Oklahoma again next year, and then the next game won't be until 2029, and then 2030. Um, so a little bit of time in between those again. So I don't know. I would really like to just schedule them all the time, but that's just me. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. Don't forget that you can follow me on Twitter. The link is up in the header or whatever. And as always, go Big Red.